What's up, guys? I have this Kinetix manifold that I'm going to be testing out. These are no longer in production. Supposedly they were just prototypes. I didn't look up too much info on it. I know everyone wanted one. It does look cool. There's always talk like whether it works or not. They have them for the D. The D ones, I believe they still continue to make them. They do look really amazing on the DE. And obviously we've already test fitted this on Fresh Kicks S15 with this HR swap. So it's for a VHR, but it will fit a HR if you get the proper hardware for it. So I don't know if there's any dyno graphs. I haven't really done any research at all on this to see just any info of what's online about this intake manifold. So I'm just gonna get straight to it, and maybe I'll look up some stuff after. But we're gonna see on a NA VQ37VHR if it makes a difference. So I'm gonna do some baseline pulls, get the best pull out of the VQ37, test car, how it sits right now, and then the only thing I'm gonna change is the intake manifold. And then we're gonna see what it does without a retune, and then we're gonna see what it does after I tune it. So I don't know what it's gonna do, but what's the point of thinking about what's gonna happen when, why don't you just do it? You know, there's no point. So just go ahead and do it, which is what I'm gonna do right now. And I don't know if anybody out there knows how much these actually went for before. I don't remember. Because they did sell a few, so that's why I don't know if they're just like prototypes. Those were just the only prototypes, or those were final production ones and they only made so many. I think what I heard was there's anywhere from 3 or 5 of these, so I'm not too sure how many were actually made or how many were made and actually sold. And here is the map sensor for the well, obviously for the map sensor for the VHR. This is gonna go back on Fresh Kicks S15, so obviously this is gonna stay here just to seal it up, but obviously nothing plugs in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the dyno pull for the latest baseline. So in this case, it doesn't matter what this car has, is all you need to know that is NA, and whatever number it puts out, the best number. After that, we're gonna swap the intake manifold, put it on, and see what it does, so we have an exact number difference. Guys, so this is the best baseline on this VQ37VHR. 300 wheel horsepower, 261 wheel torque. I actually went ahead and did 5 pulls. The first 2 pulls were back to back. The third pull, I did wait 1 minute before doing the third pull, and then I waited 3 minutes before doing the fourth pull, and then I waited 5 minutes before doing the 5th pull. And this one right here was the best one, which was actually the 3rd pull. So by the 4th and 5th, so the 4th and 5th pull, the power was already dropping. The 1st and 2nd pull, they were very similar, about 298, 299. So after that, 300 was the best pull. And I'm gonna go ahead and install the Kinetix intake manifold. Hopefully it fits. and I'm not missing anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and do a baseline pull on that without touching anything and see how it does without retuning it first. All right, the stock intake manifold is off. Oh, that styrofoam in there. Well, my food came. My hands are all dirty from installing the manifold. Well, it's not installed yet. The stock one is off, obviously. Yummy. All right, so issue number one, it hits this fuel line right here. So it might have to be bent back. So you should see a drop. See that? Because I already loosened everything up. So that's actually not good right there when the welds are right there. So you shaving that off, you might cause a leak. So they should have made it slightly shorter or just not so thick right here. I can see it's a separate plate. They're all, obviously they're different plates. 1, 2, 3, probably 4 or 5 plates, I don't know. So just gotta get through this first. All right, and here it is fully installed. If you really know what you're doing, this should roughly take you about 10 to 15 minutes to install it. It only took me about 10 minutes to install it. Of course, they don't make these anymore. So if they still made these and you had to use the hardware that it would have came with, this one didn't come with any hardware. So I had to find some bolts, but I already had everything ready for the install. Obviously these I'd probably flip differently, but I'm not going to use them. It's only for testing, so those are capped off. Looks pretty sick. I believe most people, the average person, you kind of work on cars here and there, it'll probably take you about 45 minutes to an hour taking your time. Most mechanics, 10-15 minutes. Unless you're Ray and you get paid hourly, it's going to take you 8 hours to install this. All right guys, here we go. Let's do a baseline on the Kinetix. We lost a lot of power. The Kinetix line is the red one. So let me take a look at the logs. All right, I made some adjustments. Let's see what it does. This might be why they stopped making them. All right, so still just the two new pulls. Lost a lot of power installing the manifold. It did run slightly leaner. I went ahead and fixed that, which is the green line, but still made the same peak horsepower, basically made the same number everywhere. So we're losing about 25 wheel horsepower almost throughout the whole power band compared to the stock intake manifold. Alright guys, so unfortunately the manifold does not work for a NA setup. We lost a lot of horsepower no matter what I did, fuel, timing, VVEL, you know, adjusting the cams. The cams are stock, but just adjusting them didn't do anything. It would just either lose more horsepower or go back to the same. So I went ahead and actually tried to look up some info online. So yes, I did it after. So to see if I could find just anything to tell you guys about it. And I saw one video and they did dyno it, but they did not show the dyno graph. It is from Concept Z from 2018. It is on YouTube and it's a very short video, or I think it's short. I don't know. I kind of skipped through it. I just wanted to go to the results and see what they got, but they didn't even post it. They said that it doesn't work either, and they said exactly what I was thinking. I believe these are just too big. It kind of makes sense because I was reading some data from some sensors, and I noticed that it was different, and it has to do with the design of these right here. I believe that they're just too big. I'll most likely agree with them. It'll probably be better for forced induction, but at the end of the day, it's just eye candy. I believe for forced induction, maybe it'll just be a little flatter on the top. You know, once you go forced induction, you have a lot more variables because you have so many choices on turbos and sizing for any type of piping. So at the end of the day, if these were still in production, I believe there'd be a lot of dyno graphs that would prove that they don't work. Unfortunately, because it looks really good. You know, I was hoping it would work. But then maybe most likely just the forced induction guys will be purchasing them. So again, unfortunately, this one doesn't work. It looks sick. That's most likely why they didn't keep making them. So the only thing I could find was people were calling it the prototype. So I don't know how many there were. Maybe they made 5, maybe they made 20 or 50. I don't know. The number I keep hearing is roughly like 3 to 5. But that's what you do. If you make a product and you test it, it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You just stop making it. That's it. So they probably didn't spend too much money on it. Yes, they spent, who knows, like how many thousands, maybe just a couple grand, maybe 5,000. You know, it's a pretty big company, so that's obviously nothing. But that's what you do. You make something, it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. That's it. And end of story. So these are still circulating around. Who knows who's gonna have this manifold next after Fresh Kicks? You know, maybe I just won't give it back to him and I'll put it for sale. Who knows? Right now, you know, I sent Fresh Kicks a picture of it once it was on the car. That was before I started doing the baseline with the Kinetix, and I just finished. But I thought I'd play a prank on him, and I called him and he didn't answer, which kind of worked out because I don't have anything to record with because I wanted to call him and I wanted you guys to hear him. But I told him that the manifold is cracked and is leaking, but it's not. So, oh, he's calling me right now. Let me see. All right, well, I couldn't record the phone call because it doesn't let me. But he called me while I was filming the last clip, and I told him that it's leaking, and he just sounded like very, very sad. But then he was just like, oh, well, maybe it's an easy fix. And I was like, oh, yeah, probably. But then I just told him that, no, I was just joking around. Then I told him that I lost power, and I explained everything to him. Obviously, his car's not NA, so his car's a show car, the S15, so it doesn't matter the result of the manifold on his car. So I actually would like to do a before and after on his car because that one's boosted, and I actually had told him before we thought about putting it on an NA car to test it out. So hopefully he wants to do that, but that'd be pretty cool to try on that one. But that's it for this one. 25 wheel horsepower loss on that Kinetix manifold. Maybe they can make another one, maybe a little bit smaller, probably be better.